We're here to dedicate this beautiful park next to the state capitol to our veterans. And what a great day to do it then on Veterans Day. The legislators supported making this a state Veterans Memorial Park, something that well-deserved for our veterans here in Louisiana. We have such a large amount of men and women serving in the military and families of veterans. It's well overdue to have a state park honoring our veterans, and I'm just honored to be here today with the governor and Secretary Strickland and so many great veterans and their families. As we work with the different veterans groups to decide how do we do that with park benches, flagpoles, but let them come up with some of the concept and ideas, the best way to recognize and honor those who lost their life and those who continue to serve and protect this country. So it's a great honor to be here today.
Thank you all for being here for the official dedication of the Louisiana State Veterans Memorial Park. That deserves a round of applause, I think. The term Gold Star Family, just to tell you a little bit of background, the term Gold Star Family is a modern reference that comes from the service flag. These flags and banners were first flown by families during World War I. The flag included a blue star for every immediate family member serving in the armed forces of the United States during any period of war or hostilities in which the armed forces of the United States was engaged. If that loved one died in battle, the blue star was replaced by a gold star. This allowed members of the community to know the price that the family had paid in the cause of freedom. Today, the nation recognizes the sacrifice that all Gold Star family members make when a loved one dies in service to the nation. If there are any other Gold Star families among us besides Miss Lewis, I'd like for you to stand and please be recognized. We want to honor you. Any Gold Star family. Thank you. Thank you for your service and thank you for your sacrifice. We'd also like to take the opportunity to honor any Blue Star families that are here today. Any Blue Star families? I see Janet Broussard back there. Thank you, Janet. I don't think any of us will be able to comprehend why some do not get to come home to their families. These men and women, like Miss Lewis's son and my friend Wes's son, made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our freedoms. We can never repay these families for the price they paid, and they're certainly on my mind almost every day as I go about my daily routine, and I'm so happy and proud, Wes, that you and Mrs. Lewis could be here today. Thank you. And I can tell you this, in order to honor the lives of our fallen, we must make the most of each day that we are given, and we should leave this world a little bit better than how we found it, because those brave men and women would have done the same for us. At this time, the 156th United States Army National Guard Band from Bossier City will lead us in the Armed Forces Medley.
Governor Edwards, to Lieutenant Governor Nungesser, and to all of our veterans and family members of veterans. Good morning and welcome to the capital city. Today marks the official ribbon cutting and dedication ceremony of the Louisiana Veterans Memorial Park right here in our capital city. And I'd like to start off by acknowledging Purple Heart recipients and their families, Gold Star families, veteran organizations, and of course all the men and women who serve and have served this great country. Particularly today, Corporal Takina Roberts, who is part of my security detail and a veteran. Veterans Day is a day that is observed to honor heroism, dedication, and courage that our veterans displayed for our great country. Millions of Americans have been on the battlefield to fight for our country and to defend our freedom, for which we are deeply thankful. This ribbon cutting symbolizes the care that we have for our veterans, and though we can't fully repay them for their service, dedicating the old Arsenal Park is a huge thought of gratitude. The more than 300,000 Louisiana veterans that served during the wartime deserve to be honored, and so much more. We have given soldiers medals, we've engraved their names on monuments, and named areas for them on days like this. But we must collectively care for and continue to give them the respect they rightfully deserve on a daily basis. Celebrating them is celebrating our freedom. May God continue to bless our servicemen and women and their families. May God bless Louisiana, and may God bless America. Thank you.
Governor, Mayor President BROOME, honored guests, our legislators, and most importantly, our veterans. I'm truly honored to be here today, and I want to thank the legislators for unanimously supporting this as the first Veterans Memorial Park. And what I'm really excited about is partnering with Secretary Strickland and all the veteran organizations. Because as we got together and started talking about this, we want all the veterans organizations to play a part in what we put here. Today we cut the ribbon, and tomorrow we begin the work to decide how we formulate this park over many years to honor our veterans. And I'm excited about that opportunity. I think it will give every organization an opportunity to come up with their own ideas, their own thoughts, and ways to honor our veterans. And today's Veterans Day. But I ask you as you leave here today, when you see a man or woman in uniform, or you see them with that baseball cap, thank them for their service on every day, each and every day. It means a lot to them. And let's not only recognize them here on Veterans Day, but every day we see a veteran. Thank you all for being here and supporting such a great park, and I'm excited about the future of this park for all of our veterans. God bless you.
Thank you all for being here. What a beautiful day. And I am reminded on days like today why the sky isn't blue. And for those of you who are infantry, you understand what I'm talking about. The sky is blue because God loves the infantry. And he's loving it a lot today. I can tell you that. To every veteran here, to every Purple Heart recipient, to every Gold Star family, Blue Star family, thank you. Your stories deserve to be preserved and told to the thousands of visitors who come through this park. Let me tell you why this is particularly an appropriate thing to do. You may not know it, but we have the most visited state capitol in the United States of America. And so there's not a more fitting place to pay tribute to the veterans, the people who have served, than right here beside the state capitol. And so I join with Lieutenant Governor Nungesser in encouraging our veteran service organizations and all those present to help us figure out exactly what we want this to look like. But I am going to ask you for special consideration because I had an opportunity a few months ago to visit with a World War II veteran who was 90 years old. He looks like he was about 65, but a Medal of Honor recipient, Marine who was in Iwo Jima actually. And he is going around trying to make sure that at all 50 state capitals there is a Gold Star monument. And I would like for us to make sure that we pursue that as soon as possible, because there is a monument that has been approved, and of course you can put it in and you can figure out what you want it to look like in terms of the landscaping and the lighting and whether you have benches and those sorts of things. But I really want us to dedicate ourselves to making that happen without delay. And so I'm going to be leading a fundraising effort. I'm going to lead a fundraising effort very soon to make that happen. And I know that that Secretary Strickland a moment ago recognized some of the legislators who are here. Many more have come up since we've been talking, and I know that I would leave some out because you're scattered about out there. But I just want to thank all the legislators here today for supporting the resolution that enabled us to join together to dedicate the Louisiana Veterans Memorial Park, and ask that you continue working with us so that we can make this park all that we want it to be, so that we properly honor our veterans. Dolores Lewis led us in the Pledge of Allegiance a while ago. I want you to know that she was my designee. I appointed her to the Gold Star Families Honoring Committee, and she is here, I think, 11 years after you lost your son, who was Brian Anthony Lewis, who was killed in 2006 in Baghdad because of an IED. So I want to thank you for your service on that committee, and thank you very much for being here today, Ms. Lewis. Look, even before Louisiana was in the United States, we were contributing soldiers to the cause of the American Revolution. And all the way through to today, we have soldiers both on active duty and in our guard components who are in harm's way. In fact, in numbers that probably would surprise you, huh, General Curtis? We have several hundred Louisiana soldiers and Air National Guardsmen today in Kuwait, in Iraq, in Afghanistan. And we have more than 300,000 veterans in our state. Now that's a state of about 4.5 million. Now if you look at the percentage of people in Louisiana who are serving or have served, and you look at that in comparison to other states, there is no doubt that we come from a very patriotic state. And that's one of the things that makes being governor of Louisiana so special. I am often introduced as the governor of the great state of Louisiana, and that's true, but what makes our state great are its people. And the people who make our state great do a lot of different things to contribute, but none of those contributions are more important to this state and to our country than those who serve. So on this Veterans Day ceremony, I know Veterans Day is actually tomorrow, I wanted to extend to all the veterans here and all the veterans who are not here across the state of Louisiana my sincerest thanks and appreciation and gratitude for your service. But I join Joey and others, the mayor said it a while ago, we need to thank our veterans every single day. And it's appropriate to have a day on the calendar where we're all reminded to do it, but we shouldn't have to be reminded to thank our veterans. So please, let's make sure that we do that every single day. As a veteran myself, I can tell you it means a lot to me. But I'm also mindful that it's the highest sacrifice has been paid by those families who've lost someone. But every family with a member who is serving sacrifices, because there are extended periods of time when that family member is not present for birthdays and graduations and other significant events like holidays and that sort of thing. Every family with a service member sacrifices. And so for all of you present here today, who are the spouses or children of veterans, thank you too for your sacrifice, because your support makes it all possible. Now it's fitting that we would choose the old Arsenal Park as the place for this special recognition. First of all, it's one of the most beautiful places on the grounds of the state capitol, but it was also once the epicenter of a critical military campaign to control the Mississippi River in Baton Rouge. And now these grounds will forever pay tribute to every Louisiana citizen who has served in our nation's armed forces. So I'm going to encourage you all to take the time to explore the park and appreciate the sacrifices that have been made to preserve our security and our freedoms. And as we head into this Veterans Day weekend, please make sure to thank our nation's heroes for their service. Thank them for their sacrifice. And let them know that the things that we take for granted in our great country, we're only able to do that because of what they have done for us, men and women, for many, many generations. I want to thank all of you for joining us today and ask you to continue to be involved as we move forward as a state, as a community, to honor our veterans at this park and in other ways. And I want you to know that as governor, I will be a good partner, a faithful partner in that effort. And I'd also ask you to join your prayers to mine for our country and for our state and for all of our veterans, those who have gone on before us, those here today, and those who couldn't make it. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
This former old Arsenal Park will now recognize the brave men and women who have served their country with dignity and distinction. It's like the governor said, the personal stories of the more than 320,000 Louisiana veterans who served during World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, my generation, Iraq and Afghanistan, deserve to have a place to be remembered by our grateful state, and this park, in their honor, will do just that. Their stories will be preserved and shared through a series of military monuments, and this will be a dignified place for veterans and their families to gather and reconnect with fellow military families. It is my hope that future memorials to our military veterans, and especially the first one to our Gold Star families, can be built here. I encourage all of our service organizations, and I belong to just about all of them, to be a part, as the governor said, of the development of this park in the near future. The Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs does so much for our military families, and I'm proud to be the leader of that great, magnificent team of almost 900 employees. Thank you all for being here to support the brave men and women who put their lives on the line for us. Please stand for the playing of taps, and that will conclude our ceremony for today.
Tell you, I just came from a middle school where they're honoring our veterans today. It's across Louisiana, across our country, but in Louisiana we truly have a great amount of patriotism for our veterans, our flag, and of course the national anthem. So real proud to be here today.
To dedicate the Louisiana Veterans Memorial Park here right beside the state capitol on such a beautiful day, in such a beautiful location, to honor the almost 330,000 veterans in the state of Louisiana, and to have so many people come out and be joined by Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, Mayor President Sharon BROOME, and so many legislators, but most importantly by so many veterans, and to have so many veteran service organizations represented here today. This is a spectacular day, and it's the right way to kick off a celebration of Veterans Day. And I encourage people out there to make sure that they thank veterans and their family members for their sacrifices in the service, but don't just do it on Veterans Day. Let's try to do it every day throughout the year.
You can go to louisianatourist.com, tourism.com to look up anything about Louisiana tourism, and we're working so many of our new activities into that website as we ask people to staycation in Louisiana and see a part of Louisiana you haven't seen before. We'll be able to add more and more things to do here in Louisiana.